Finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but I answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbon night's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free, yeah. Told me get myself together, now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather, better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carbon night is gone. I'm moving on, I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. Shades of cover up my eyes, I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side, I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookie at my side. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Now I'm feeling how I should join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so fly time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Told me get my act together, now I got my act together. Yeah, now I made it through the weather, better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy, the carbon night is gone. I'm moving on, I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. Shades of cover up my eyes, I'm jumping in my ride, I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side, I'm jumping in my Falcon, Wookie at my side. I'm solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, I'm on solo, solo.
Hey everybody, welcome
Hello
back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. I'm your host Caleb.
Hello, I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars with this man.
Well, how are you doing today?
Tired.
Tired? Yeah. You mentioned that you had a bit of a late night.
Yeah, and I went to bed early, but it didn't help.
Yeah. So this week we are talking about Doctor Aphra.
Yes.
We were supposed to have a guest, and so I should, I guess, address that. Yeah. Family emergency came up. It happens. Hopefully they will be back next week, though, to talk about the subject next week, as they had also wanted to talk about that. But this week it's just gonna be you and me.
Yep.
I know you're disappointed. It's just me.
God, man. Oh, well.
Oh well. There is some Star Wars news that we should jump into first, though. First off, a new description for Cataclysm came out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the next adult novel in the High Republic, the one that has our boy. I say our boy, but like it's the Star Wars fandom is split on this character, Axel. He's on the cover.
Yeah.
So here's the new description that we got. After 5 years of conflict, the planets of Irem and Arano are on the cusp of real peace. But when news breaks of a disaster at the treaty signing on Jeddah, violence reignites on the beleaguered worlds. Together, the royal heirs of both planets, Fantu Zin and Ziri Albaran, working alongside the Jedi, have uncovered evidence that the conflict is being orchestrated by outside forces, and all signs point to the mysterious Path of the Open Hand, whom the Jedi also suspect of causing the disaster on Jeddah. With time and answers in short supply, the Jedi must divide their forces between helping quell the renewed violence on Irem and Arano and investigating the path. Among them is Gela Natai, who turns to the one person she believes can unravel the mystery, but the last person she wants to trust, Axel Greylark. The Chancellor's son, imprisoned for his crimes, has always sought to unburden himself of the weight of his family name. Will he reconcile with the Jedi and aid in their quest for justice and peace, or embrace the path's promise of true freedom? As all roads lead to Dalna, Gela and her allies prepare to take on a foe unlike any they've ever faced, and it will take all of their trust in the Force and in one another to survive. So what do you think? Does that excite you for Cataclysm?
I want to see where this goes.
You right? Like,
you can't hear much enthusiasm from me, but that's...
Once again, it's because you're tired, but, like, I know that you... Like, because you've liked the High Republic a lot so far, so, like, just hearing what's coming up, it's like...
Yeah, I am excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, like, the big thing for me that I'm interested in is seeing it... From the description, Axel is very much like a Hannibal type character, where Gela's like, I don't want to talk to this man, but he has insider information, so I need to get the information from him. And also, Axel potentially wants to be redeemed, but does he? We don't know.
Well...
The ending of the...
I'm not worried about Axel redeeming himself. I don't think that's something that the character is concerned with.
No.
It's like, please just leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Which I think is his way of being redeemed without actively doing something. Like, he's just like...
he doesn't want to hang out with his mom.
No.
He doesn't like being involved in her political shit. So he went to the path of the open hand, realized maybe this is bullshit, and he wants to be left alone by them, too.
Yep.
But the people keep not leaving him alone.
I mean...
That's all that he wants.
I think in this case, though, he's needed.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't a case of we can do this without him. No. We need him. Also, Dalna, my prediction is getting close, because I've been predicting this since... Which book was it that I made this prediction for Dalna?
I do remember that Dalna has a history of not liking Jedi.
Yeah,
because there's a specific
there was a war.
Event.
There was a little war that happened on Dalna, and so I think I predicted during the book when we read that. I think it was the third junior novel that came up. I want to remember the name of it.
Why do I keep thinking it's a test of courage?
No, that's the first
book. That's not it. It's not Into the Dark either.
No, that's man, it's giving me the second book, but I know Race to Crash Point Tower. That's not it.
It's not Out of the Shadows.
No, that's the young adult novel. Mission to Disaster.
There we go.
That's right, because So Mission to Disaster, I made that prediction where I was like, because when we found out how the time period, because we knew the time period difference, we knew there was going to be the 200-year gap, and then on top of that, we knew, thanks to Mission to Disaster, that something happened on Dalna 200 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's going to play an important part in Phase 2. And we've never, Dalna's been mentioned throughout Phase 2, but we have not seen it.
Yeah.
And so now...
It's a case of, we've seen what happens to this place. We know.
Yeah. And we know, stuff... We know the vague details of what happened, of why they don't trust the Republic or Jedi, right? But we never actively saw...
why.
And I predicted that we would. And here we are. I think we're getting closer to my prediction being correct. I'm betting, if I had money to bet, if I was a betting man, Cataclysm is going to be the goal of my prediction here. We're going to see it, the fruition of my vision. Yeah. So that's my prediction for Cataclysm. I think we're going to see what happens on Dalna that created this fraction.
Yeah. I gotta say, I do like the crew for the adult novel for this.
Oh yeah, because I mean, Fonzu and Ziri and Gela, they're just likable characters. Putting aside Axel, which I think has redeemable qualities, but he's still not a great character.
We're going to see what happens here.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how book 2 plays out his character, because book 1, he's, for the most part, he's got very positive things, but he's also very much like not a good guy.
Yeah, no.
So
it's like we can see this guy be better because we know that they do have
the qualities that could improve them, but they just don't. They choose not to. And so that's the problem, is he just chooses not to. So yeah, book 2, I'm excited. Cataclysm. It will be the last book of Phase 2 for the adult books. Next up is, speaking of 2, keeping the themes of 2s going, Andor Season 2. According to actor Alex Ferns, Linus Mosk will not be back for Season 2. As of when he tweeted.
All right.
That's the actor who plays Mosk. So it's direct information. This is not like somebody said that he's not. No. This is the actor saying, my character's not coming back as of this moment anyways, because now, of course, that could change because, well, not really, because the scripts are done. The scripts have been done. Like, they wrote Season 1 and 2 together. So I guess no, he's done, which is upsetting because I think Mosk still had some character potential somewhere in the show, but obviously, with a bunch of the time jumps that we're going to be getting in Season 2, I think that's the main concern, is that there's just going to be so much that they have to quickly give us in Season 2.
I am trying to remember who Mosk is. And
he's the big guy. He's the friend of Cyril Karn. The other corpo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the big corpo that was really nice to him. It was like, you did a good job with your speech, buddy. Even though he did not.
Yeah. From a narrative reason, there is no reason to bring that character back.
No, I think there's ways that he could be useful, and I think there's stuff for that character that we could see more of. But
to the central plot, he is not important.
Yeah. And also, at least, I mean, assuming, because obviously we don't know, because we're not in the writer's room, but like, more than likely, he is not. And therefore, that's why they feel comfortable getting rid of him. And also, like I said, we're getting a lot of time jumps because we still have five whole years to get to Rogue One. And Season 2 is going to get us to Rogue One. Because they were originally going to do 5 seasons, but then they were only able to do 2. So.
All right.
So, yeah. So, no Mosk.
Bye.
Bye. And then we got you and I were talking about this. Skeleton Crew has reportedly wrapped. This is according to a member of the stunt team who shared some posts on I believe, let me double check where he posted. I want to say Instagram, but I'm double checking. Yeah, on her Instagram, sorry. Deadline reported it. Reported on the story. So, she said, Juliana Potter on her Instagram story allegedly stating that she can't wait for the world to see what's in store. Supposedly we're getting that show near, I believe it's supposed to be near the end of the year. I think it's the winter show that we're getting this year. And then, because we're getting Ahsoka before that.
Okay.
Because I think it's Mando, Ahsoka. Well, no, that can't be right. So it's got to be Mando. Because we got Bad Batch going right now, and then we're going to get Mando. And then we're going to get Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew are the other shows that are supposed to be this year. Now I'm throwing off on the schedule, though. Hold on. Double checking. But your thoughts on Skeleton Crew? Yeah, go ahead.
Is Skeleton Crew the name?
It's the name of the show.
Okay, and its premise?
We don't know much about it, actually. It's very
Great. So I have a name and nothing else to
all
go
we
off
know
of.
is that it's part of the whole like like the whole Favreau and Filoni stuff that's going on. So it's during that era, as far as we know. That's the most that we know is that it takes place during the Mandalorian era of Star Wars. So that post Return of the Jedi, or like still early years post Return.
Yeah.
And that it's a coming of age story,
Okay.
and it's got Jude Law.
All right.
That's all we really know. But yeah, so supposedly production's done, which is interesting because I think Ahsoka's supposed to come first, but I don't think Ahsoka's. Well, no, I think Ahsoka is done actually, because we might have already talked about. No, Ahsoka. Well, no, it has to be because it began filming in May of last year.
Ooh.
There's no way it's still going. They're in post-production.
Probably.
Yeah. That's the problem. We don't have, like, even months or, like, give us, like, early 20, like, all I know in specifics to that is that we are getting Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew this year, and then Acolyte, we don't know when it's coming out, but more than likely next year. Because they've already, like, they're filming it right now, so. And that's it really for Star Wars side of Disney Plus. Plus, like, there's other stuff, like, on the schedule where we know a little bit more details. Like, we know Secret Invasion's supposed to be pretty soon because that's early this year, so we're probably looking at maybe March at the latest for that. And then you got the Echo show later this year and Ironheart. And
all right.
Yeah. Anyways. But yeah, so Skeleton Crew done filming, supposedly, according to at least according to one of the stunt performers.
All right. Oh, really?
This is a little bit more of the kind of like just feeding into like wanting to do projects, but nothing that's in stone. Ewan McGregor has actually come, like in a recent interview, reflected on Obi-Wan Kenobi and has actually talked about being willing to come back for more seasons. Not a show that necessarily needs one.
Yeah.
But I don't think the fans would be, like, angry at if we got another season.
Yeah.
Like, because it's just more Ewan McGregor and stuff like that. And people like Ewan McGregor. I mean, here's some direct quotes from that interview. I was so happy to do it again and so happy to work with Hayden again, and I hope we get the chance to do it again. In the old days, I would joke about there must be a good story to tell between episode 3 and 4, but it's true, I always felt that there was. I feel like Deborah Chow found it and absolutely nailed it. Like, just found the story that we wanted to see between the last one that we did and first that was done in 77. And I think it just adds to our knowledge of the characters, and it's satisfying for the fans. And he's right. I think most fans enjoyed Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think there are a few people who didn't.
Yeah.
But it's like, I think for the most part, enjoyable show, and you can have your complaints here or there about whatever, but I think at the end of the day it was a fun show. And I wouldn't be mad to see more Ewan, although I still want I want a Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan show. I mean, probably will have to be animated at this point, because while Obi-Wan you can make look younger, because Ewan has some baby face, especially if you shave, like if he trims the beard and mustache. He still has a bit of baby face. Liam Neeson's a little bit harder to get that younger Qui-Gon look, I think, from, back when he did it. Even getting him to episode 1, I don't think he could look like that again. But he's open to voice acting because he did in Tales. I mean, so there's that. Speaking of people returning, though, Daisy Ridley also in an interview talked about how she would be open to returning to Star Wars and that she's excited about the idea of what Disney Plus has been providing of like a way to tell stories for Star Wars. And so, like, somebody asked her because she initially the reason it got there was somebody asked her opinion about Amanda Stenberg being the lead in The Acolyte. And,
Yeah.
of course, she showed her support to a fellow female actress and, that type of stuff, and, like, being open to be like, yeah, of course I support that. More leads,
All right.
And then she was like, somebody asked if, she's keeping an ear, keeping an eye out for more roles.
Mhm.
And she was like, I mean, I'm open to a phone call. I'm looking for employment. I mean, which is the most
Yeah.
fair response an actor. I think that is the most honest response an actor can give. That they are always open for a gig, because that's just an actor. You are always open to more roles. Like, I don't think of any actor that would go, no, I don't want to be in a huge franchise again. No, yes, like, maybe publicly they'll say that, but the reality is, no. You as an actor want these type of roles.
It's their job.
It's your job, especially if you're not getting much else. And unfortunately, while Daisy is a great actor, she has not been getting a lot of other chances to show it.
Mm-hmm.
But this was because of actually a film that she's coming out with soon that this interview was happening. It was because of Sometimes I Think About Dying, which was at Sundance. So she's getting some film work, but yeah. I personally liked her in this. What was that I saw her in most recently? Death on the Nile, the sequel to Murder on the Orient Express.
Okay.
Yeah. She was in that, I think, if I remember correctly. She was either in that or no. Was she in Murder? No. Yeah, she was in Murder. That's right. She was in Murder on the Orient Express. Sorry. Because that was when Star Wars hype was big for her, because Murder on the Orient Express came out while the sequels were still going.
I see.
Because it was 2017, so yeah. So yeah, she hasn't. I mean, but that's true of a lot of big actors. Big actors in like franchise roles tend to not get a lot for a while after they're done with the franchise. I mean, just look at how long it took Daniel Radcliffe to really build a career after Harry Potter.
Oh yeah.
Like, it took him forever to kind of get out of the Harry Potter bubble.
So, here's a.
Oh, you've got a story about
I
this?
have a funny story. So for the longest time, I did not know where the origin of the meme where he's like in his PJs and has guns in his hands.
Oh yeah.
I found out because
You found the movie.
I found the movie and it's fucking dumb.
Oh
and
my
it's
goodness.
awesome.
That movie is so Guns Akimbo.
Yeah.
Guns Akimbo is so good.
It's so dumb and so funny.
But that's like kind of like that's the point.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be like it's not a smart like there's some themes there, but it's not supposed to be the smart man's movie.
It's not. What happened? We fucking bolted guns to your bones. You'll never take them off.
I love it. Speaking of, though, on the Disney Plus stuff,
Yeah.
she said, I haven't watched all of them, but it's just because of timing and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the work everyone's doing is amazing. I worked with Pedro Pascal, and I was like, this is really cool. He's the Mandalorian. I still find it all very interesting or exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, because she has worked with Pedro. I forget in what.
I don't know.
I know, I'm supposed to know this
Don't
stuff.
ask me about movies.
Oh, I think I saw it for a split second. The Bubble,
Ah.
which came out last year.
Well,
But yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that, is going on
hopefully,
there.
hopefully she finds more work.
I mean, it sounds like she's getting more and
Yeah.
more. I hope she gets more Star Wars work, because I want Rey back.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
I want
I
want the story that Lego Star Wars specials have been hinting at of like Rey teaching Finn. That's I want Finn Jedi, and I want Rey rebuilding whatever she's gonna build.
I just want something after Episode 9.
Yeah, I mean, we got our Lego Star Wars specials. They're after Episode 9.
They're good.
I know they're not.
That's
canon.
not what I meant.
You want canon material.
Yeah.
You want stuff that's strictly like, okay, this is what's happening.
Yeah. I don't mind. stuff like the holiday specials from Lego, because Lego knows what they're doing.
Yeah. And honestly, they're giving us what we want as fans.
Yeah.
That like in the weirdest way, they're like, here you go. Here's the story of Poe with the horror one. You get Poe's story, and then you get Rey's story with the holiday special, and then we finally get Finn's story with Summer Vacation, which is what a lot of people want because Finn got out of all the trio, Finn got screwed the most when it came to storytelling. That's just the facts. Well, I like the films Finn got screwed. But yeah. So, on to our main topic, though.
Yeah.
That's for Star Wars news. On our main topic, we are talking about Star Wars Doctor Aphra, Volume 5, The Spark Eternal.
Yep.
So, spoiler warning, as usual.
We're going to be covering this thing.
I
should get closer to the mic when I talk.
So, do you remember where we left off before?
I remember.
At least in the Doctor Aphra part. We don't have to discuss, like, the entire, entirety of what happened last time we were in this era of Star Wars comics.
I remember that she went and touched a thing that she shouldn't have, and that they're working for the tags.
Specifically Domina.
Mm-hmm. Because she likes rich things?
Specifically because Aphra also killed Ronan.
Oh, yeah.
her nephew. Which, last time, did we talk about your how you feel about the Ronan
yeah, we
and Domina?
Did.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but I remember that part. And
Yeah.
how I was like, this is a weird situation, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Some Game of Thrones
Yeah.
stuff going on. Actually, more accurate, House of the Dragon would be more accurate.
Yeah, that would be a more
Except you
time-appropriate thing.
Well, it's also more accurate, except you just switch the relationship.
Yeah.
Because instead of uncle and niece, it's aunt and nephew.
Yeah.
So, more accurate.
And I'm like, I don't like this.
But yeah, so Domina, of course, wants weapons and stuff like that, because work for the Empire, and, know.
Go bring me that evil old shit.
When you've got,
the Empire likes evil old shit.
I mean, also, like, we're doing military contracts, essentially. So give us some military things.
Mm-hmm.
But she was in a race with Kofan Ferris.
Yep. Who I guess
who is
really
working,
likes serial killer movies.
That and specifically like Seven.
Yeah.
Like very Seven vibes. But they are working for
Crimson
Dawn.
Yeah.
And so
on behalf of the archivist who is a member of Crimson Dawn.
Let me see if I can fix my computer. The fan is like clicking here. I don't know if the mic can pick it up.
Well,
but oh, it's not.
Yeah.
Okay, because we went dead silent just to see. No, it's not. Okay.
Then there is Just Lucky and Areole,
who are also working for Crimson Dawn now.
Yeah,
they were
but
not
they weren't
before.
At the time.
Because they were having to deal with money that Lucky owes. Well, specifically Lucky's brother owes.
Yep.
A casino. But our saviors at Crimson Dawn, Kira was like, I'll pay that off. Don't worry about that. You come work for me. I'll take good care of you.
And they kind of ran away, I think.
Yeah, they ran away.
Because they were like, this is too good to be true. Goodbye.
And just in case the person that they were working for decides to kill them anyways, they were like, nah, we ain't risking that. We're just going to run in the middle of the night.
Yep.
I think they left Lucky's brother behind, though, which...
Damn.
If I remember correctly. I think I do remember that correctly, though. Like, they didn't, like, actively go like, oh, we could have saved... No, they just left town.
They're
so
like,
it wasn't
we
like...
gotta leave now.
Like, it wasn't a matter of, oh, we sacrificed Lucky's brother. No, it's more of just, they just left without telling Lucky's brother and trying to grab him.
So...
But yeah, back to Aphra specifically. Aphra now has an evil spirit inside, like, that's also, like, connected to technology inside her.
And it's like,
because
I don't like this at all.
Because they were dealing with Ascendant, the cult group, the Ascendant, who are basically so bad that even the Sith said, fuck this.
Fuck it. We're killing these guys.
But the way that Ascendant cult was working is they were trying to do funny what a lot of my players have tried to. Well, actually, no player has tried that actually in my games. But it's the let's have so much technology that we can pretend we have the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Here's
a bit of advice. Maybe don't make it look so fucking evil looking.
To be fair, they are a splinter group of the Sith.
That's true.
As we learn as we go through this comic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Aphra's now completely under control of this.
Yep.
The Spark Eternal, also known as just the Spark.
Yep.
And basically is like, I have all these memories from Aphra. Fuck you all. And they all, like, everybody tries to get their licks in, and only for Spark to be like, hey, remember, this is Aphra's body, so you break it, you buy it.
Sana is like, that's fine. She tries.
Yeah.
She tries.
And so, like, she actually does a shot or two, and, like, that's when Spark's like, hey, you really want to kill me that badly? And, like, Sana kind of does give up for a second. Meanwhile, Ko's like, I could take you on.
Ko's like, I'm cool with that.
And, like, Sana tries to use the whip to stop the Spark, only for the Spark to remind them, hey, that's my technology.
I built that.
Well, I didn't build it, but, like, I can control it.
Yeah, I know how to use that.
Because I'm connected to it all. Because that's all Ascendant technology.
Yep.
And I'm related to the Ascendant technology.
I am the pinnacle of Ascendant technology.
Yeah. So, good job, dum-dums.
Nice try. It's like, should we run? Yes. We're gonna run now.
Yeah. Like, nothing works. Like, the the Whip of Sorrows, the Calling Gloves, even the
Thought Dowser.
Yeah, the Thought Dowser. It's all just... Honestly, though, out of all the Ascendant technology, I think the coolest piece to build for for somebody that's doing like a Aphra or one of these characters like cosplay, the Thought Dowser would be a cool thing to build. It also feels like it'd be the easiest to build, and that was running through my head though, because I also think of cool cosplays that I will never do because I don't got the money.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the people who do, though. It's a good, and I've seen some good Aphra cosplays. But yeah, so the Thought Dowser is being used against Ko because the gloves.
Yeah.
And Sana figures, okay, well the best solution is just headbutt to Ko with the butt of the gun, and then shoots the Thought Dowser out of Spark's hand. They all do manage to get away except for that teacher. That teacher is dead.
Yeah. Big dead.
And they all escape only for Bush and crew to show up. Which we all remember Bush, and Bush and their crew is currently working for the good Dominatag.
Mm-hmm. They're like, all right, come on, you're coming with us.
Meanwhile, Lucky and Areole are, Lucky has a price on his head now from Windelphus. Because, they ran.
Yeah.
Which we get a previously scene that we missed, which is, them agreeing to join Crimson Dawn and leave Windelphus, because Win is going to screw them over, even if they do somehow manage to do the job that Win wants them to, which is kill their mentor. And Kira's like, trust me, I know how that works, because I worked for Dryden Voss. He was a piece of shit. He would have killed me at any point. For those of y'all who have seen Solo, yes, he would. Dryden Voss was not exactly the best, no. And of course, there were worse people over Dryden Mall, which Kira also hints to. But Kira's like, join me and we'll be cool and I can help you.
And they're like...
And so, like, they're still contemplating it, but they realize that, yeah, Kira's right.
Yeah.
Like, Kira is also just as a potentially dangerous person to work for as Wendelphus. But Wendelphus, they've worked with Wen long enough to know that Wen will kill them no matter what. Kira, there's at least still a 50-50 chance that Kira might not kill them. And so, go with the more... the more likely chance of living. There we go. Because more than 0% is still better than 0% when it comes to living.
A smaller chance is better than no chance at all.
Yeah. Look, I'm doing my best here, okay?
Yeah, I know. I'm not really carrying today, am I?
But yeah, so
Meanwhile,
Boosh and them bring Sana and Ko to Domino.
Ko.
Well, it's no idea. Yeah, Ko just got like dragged into this because Sana happened to be carrying them.
Yo, Ko, despite the fact that you're like a murderer, man, you just have the worst luck.
Yeah, like just happened to get dragged into this.
Yeah.
So basically, Domino's like, "Hey, I need some evidence of loyalty because I heard that Aphra ran off with that Ascendant technology, and I wanted that Ascendant technology." So
and they're like, it's more like the Ascendant technology
she ran off with
her.
And so Domino's like, "Okay, well, you need to figure out a way to separate it."
It's like,
and then get it to me.
They're like, well, what if that hurts her? And Domino's like, I don't give a damn. Give me that tech.
Yeah, proving a point as she pulls out a secret camera that somebody is obviously more than likely Ronan. We find out, yes, it's Ronan. Because he's...
Hey, nephew, I know you're there. I know you heard what I just said.
Yeah, you kind of suck at hiding the little cameras around. You suck at spying. And... so, yeah.
It's like, anyway.
Crushes camera. Back to business.
Anyway, point is, go get me that thing.
One way or the other. And Sana's like, okay, on one condition. I need a crew. A good crew. And I don't want your guys.
I don't want... And they're like, hey, wait a bit. And she's like, no offense.
You're not experts.
Not going to help me.
You're not experts in this situation. I need people who know Aphra. So they go, Sana and Ko go find her dad. So I forget the name of the characters, but they were in the original run of Aphra comics. And so basically they say her family, her loved ones, her exes. That's who we need.
Yep.
And they get one very important ex of them all, Magna.
Who doesn't seem like she has much interest in doing this.
Yeah, because Magna's story is very... I can't wait for you to read the older Aphra comics, because Magna's story is interesting. Magna was an Imperial officer who fell in love with Aphra and defected to the rebels afterwards. And is an officer in the rebellion. And honestly, Magna's awesome. I love Magna. But yeah. So we get a little bit of inside Aphra's head.
Yeah.
As Aphra is reliving moments throughout her life, because the spark is kind of like, hey, I gotta keep you busy, or else you'll try to take over your body again.
She's like, give it back.
And so we get some messed up moments in Aphra's life, including when she was in the Akresker jail, where she had her mind like dug into.
Yeah.
It was not great. No.
It doesn't look pleasant.
No. It's that creature from Rogue One. The one that reads your mind and but we also get a moment with Lucky and Aphra, and it's From what we can tell, this is the moment where Aphra and Lucky kind of their first mission together.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this is why they kind of have this on again, off again thing of betraying each other.
Yeah.
And then in the moment, Aphra realizes that in order to get control of her body, she needs to go to memories that are more connected to the spark.
Yeah.
So she manages to get her memories into the Vermilion with the Thought Dowser, as well as trying to basically take control of the body that way.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not exactly working yet. Meanwhile, the Spark is trying to deal with Crimson Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we learned the history of the Ascendancy throughout this run.
Yeah, we do.
So we learned that the Ascendancy was not all bad. They just were not great either.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where I'm like, so technology combined with religion to me is also one of those things where I'm like, so my choice is a bunch of evil religious dickheads or the Ascendant.
What? As a Fallout fan, you don't like religion and technology groups?
Yeah, it's a big shocker there.
You don't like the Brotherhood?
No.
The joke for Fallout, people who don't understand Fallout, is the Brotherhood is a religious group who bases a lot of their stuff around technology and
like
keeping it away from people that aren't worthy.
Yeah. It's like, I get it to an extent, but it's also like, why are you like this?
Like, we could have, in the case of Fallout, we could have brought back civilization at this point if you had just given people technology that you have found and is working, but instead you keep it to yourself and let it just kind of rust away and just not work
like,
anymore.
Why did you do this?
Instead, you've militarized and...
Yeah. They're a bit isolationist at the best of times.
Yeah. And at the worst of times, they're just going to get in your business and say that they need to destroy you.
Horrendously murdery.
Yeah. Speaking of...
That's why this is giving me, like, I don't like either of these choices, so I guess, Aphra, you're the best one by default.
Well, also, Aphra's great because Aphra is similar to you, where Aphra's like, man, these choices suck. I guess I choose me.
Yep.
Because it's basically, so we see the history of because by grabbing the Thought Dowser, Aphra accidentally sends herself further back towards memories of the Spark and not of her own memories anymore. Because the Spark is also connected to its creator.
Yep.
Meryl, who we get, from what we understand, is also the founder of the Ascendant. Basically, Meryl leads this group of people who are done with the Sith and try to rise up against them by creating technology that can do so. Things do not go well.
Yeah.
So we are led into the underground area where the Spark was that we saw last time we were doing Aphra comics. And it turns out that that's where this last big battle happened between the Sith and the Ascendant. And it was also when the Spark was born. Because basically it was a last-ditch effort to defeat the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
It did not go... Well, it went well-ish.
It kind of worked.
You know, if also everybody else dying around Meryl also was part of the plan.
Yeah.
And not just the Sith. And of course... Aphra's not a... So Aphra's a bad person, but Aphra is not an evil person.
Yeah.
So Aphra is, of course, empathetic to Meryl's situation. Because I think this panel shows that Aphra's empathetic. The way the art's done, I see empathy within Aphra's face. Oh, wait, no, that's the Spark. My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry, red dialogue meaning Spark. The spark is empathetic,
Of course it would be.
kinda. I don't think it's truly empathetic. I think it's more of like, oh, these are the people who gave me life, so of course I have to.
Yeah.
I think Aphra though is sort of empathetic. We don't really see too much of it though, because Aphra's like
Aphra's busy with her own problems right
Aphra's
now.
trying to get control of her body again.
Yeah.
And so, but I do think Aphra, as somebody who definitely could have made these same mistakes as Muriel, because Aphra's definitely the type to make these same exact decisions. If you think Aphra wouldn't also push forward the idea of technology in this way, I'll just remind you all of the time that Aphra thought that she was talking to a Force Ghost and it was actually a fungus.
What?
It was a fungus mixed with technology.
Okay.
It was when she was on the prison ship.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah. So she's willing to push the boundary because, especially with force-based technology like that, we've seen that she's willing to make those pushes.
Yeah.
And the spark kind of even reminds her of the fact that she sacrificed everything to get to where she is now.
It's like, man, you got a long history of exchanging people for progress, don't you?
Yeah. Including your evil droids, who I am now going to try to use to my advantage.
By the way, thanks for...
Tell me about them.
What?
Well, like, tell me where they were,
Yeah.
but tell me about them, cause, like, in a way of, like, reading memories.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, yeah, because your droids tells me that she just so telling me about them in that regard. Like, she
Yeah.
didn't actively tell them, but, like, that's when I say telling me about them, like, in the Spark way, where Spark's just reading your mind. And Aphra's like, well, shit.
That didn't go to
But
plan.
also, no, that was the plan though, because as soon as Spark leaves, Aphra's like, perfect, all the plan,
Nailed it.
nailed it, because basically the plan is that BT and 000 will also not like the Spark, and hopefully will be able to be the technology that she needs to get out, because she needs something to feed into her tattoo implants.
Mm.
And that's the goal, is to use the tattoo implants to kind of feed out.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the Vermilion, Spark decides to have a meeting with the archivist
Yep.
and basically reveals, I'm not Aphra, I'm the Spark. And we're going to work together now. That's all we really get.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Team Save Aphra, I guess we'll call it, includes Data Yao, Eustacia Oka, Corin Aphra,
Mm-hmm.
and Kofan Ferris, as well as Magna and Sana.
I do love I like how you brought all of these people together who admit they are things X, Y, and Z.
Like, they're all thieves. They're all, like, also, like,
Yeah.
archaeologists, because Corin is an archaeologist. That's why Aphra,
Mm-hmm.
Chelly Aphra, also went into archaeology.
Yeah, and Magna's like, all right.
And then,
let's
like,
go."
a soldier, essentially. And so, of course, Magna's the one that's immediately trying to be like, okay, I got it. If I'm going to be a part of this, I've got to, like, take some charge. Also, we learned that Magna and Sana are together now, essentially.
Mm.
At least the way that, like, Sana plays into Magna with the do it for me. And everybody does the ooh.
I don't think it's... Is that the exact line?
And if you can't do it for her, do it for me.
Okay.
So, yes. That is and the way that Magna's face, that's how dare you use these emotions against me. And then everybody else's reaction is definitely oh, they're a thing.
Yeah. either they were or are.
Yeah.
It's like,
More recent than Magna and Aphra, anyways. Kasana has also been heavily helping the rebellion as well. It's how she got introduced, was she was Han's ex, who joins the rebellion,
What is it?
similar to Han, to get paid, essentially, but then eventually, like, heart of gold nature.
Yeah.
And then we learned that she was also an ex of Aphra, and that's why she starts helping Aphra.
Fuck it, fine, I'll help you. God damn.
It's also how Han also kind of knows who Aphra is, like he's heard of her.
Mm.
But yeah. So Magna agrees to help.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Data Yao puts a tracking device on the ship.
Mm.
Oh no, she finds
She
it.
finds
Sorry.
one, and it's like,
She finds it, but it
really?
also doesn't say who.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder who you belong to.
Turns out it's Lucky.
Yep.
And his crew. Because he has a crew now. Well, he had a crew, but like it's
Yeah,
been a minute
a
since
new
we've
one.
seen them. Like we've seen them in earlier in the Aphra run, but we haven't seen them in a minute.
Yeah, and they're like, alright.
We saw them during the Ronin ring heist, which you haven't read yet.
No, I have not.
But you've gotten a lot of references to it.
Yeah, I'm like,
You're like, I know about this ring heist, but I don't know the exacts. I know that Ronin died but came back, and
yeah.
but it turns out Lucky is working for Ronin.
Yep.
Who has allied himself with Crimson Dawn
Mm-hmm.
as well, because Crimson Dawn's promised that they'll essentially make him the top tag.
Yeah.
Which is how Crimson Dawn does a lot of their dealings. It's like, oh, you're a second in command. We can fix that.
Mm.
That tends to be how a lot of their deals go.
I wonder where that comes from.
I mean, it's how their deal with the Hutts went. That didn't go well for him, though. He died and then caused all the other Hutts to have to be killed as well.
Yeah. Whoops. So,
But
as
yeah,
I have come to understand
Yeah,
things,
go ahead.
Apparently, Lucky has a bit of a disappearing crew problem.
Yeah.
In that someone dies, or a lot of people die on the missions that he does.
It can happen. I mean, obviously these are people though that work for Ronin that do work for Lucky a lot, but
Yeah.
there are, for the most part, yeah. Things just don't always. His name is ironic,
Yeah.
but
They're like, where would Aphra fucking hide out?
well, more of where the spark would go.
Yeah.
And they figure out, okay, well, more than likely, I forget who it is that knows about the droids being here, but one of them kind of knows that the droids are here.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go to Baruke, where they see a lot of dead bodies immediately.
It's like, damn.
And it turns out that they were Crimson Dawn.
Yep.
Actually, no, that's how they track. Ironically, they follow Crimson Dawn, who is also following them. It's very circular. Like, Crimson Dawn is tracking the droid specifically, and then the Team Aphra is following them, and then Lucky, who is also working for Crimson Dawn, but also working for Ronin, tracks them.
Yeah. This shifting of alliances.
It's not even that. It's just a team tracking a team tracking a team.
Tracking another team disguised as another team. Nah.
But yeah, so they eventually find their way through to where they get shot at by the Crimson Dawn team, and they manage to fight their way to this hut, where turns out that's where BT and 000 have been hiding and basically on vacation. Like, they've just been hiding out this way. And it turns out that the Spark was tracking Lucky.
Yeah. And so they're like, we're gonna, fuck.
Yeah, so Lucky and the Spark have to deal with each other.
Yep.
Meanwhile, in the mind of Aphra, reliving the memory box heist, now joined by the very, very much annoying
Meryl.
Meryl, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so it's like, I'll talk to you and da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, and like Meryl is like bugging and just being annoying and being like, why do we got to try to get your body back? Like, let's just, you know what? We just hang out here for the rest of eternity.
It's like, 'cause it's my body, jackass. That's why.
Also, like, Meryl is flying with
Yeah.
throughout the whole thing and kind of very ghost-like, floating
Yeah.
through things. And so Meryl's like, hey, how about I teach you some stuff?
Yeah.
And Aphra's like, fuck it, I might as well learn because I've got nothing else to do.
What else am I gonna do right now?
So once we go to the first time when one of the early times when Meryl's life has been sentenced to death,
Yep.
and like after she formed the Ascendants. Meanwhile, in the material plane, I guess we'll go with Baruch, 000 and them are just like, attacking Team Aphra because they say why not.
Mhm.
And Data saves Ko from being shot at, and
Mhm.
that panel,
What?
Ko's blushing.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's just cute.
Mm.
Like I love it. It's very cute. And then they finally explain, "Hey, no, we're here because Aphra." And they're like, "Oh." Like specifically once they
Yeah.
see Sana, they're like, "Oh, it's you." Okay. What's up? And then they start like being friendly in the
Ish.
000 BT way,
Yeah.
where it's essentially they just won't kill them.
Yep.
Also, they use the word meatbag. They bring HK's meatbag terminology in. That KOTOR HK-47.
All right.
Look, they're meatbags. We're meatbags.
Yeah. And they're droids.
They're droids. Is meatbag
Yes.
offensive?
Yes, genius.
Is it?
That is the droid racial
it?
slur for everyone else.
Is it though? I mean, I don't feel bad about the term knowing that Malik is the original meatbag.
That is true.
Malik was the original meatbag.
However, Malik, he fucking did a lot of things.
That's why he deserved it.
Yeah.
He's the original meatbag. So I don't feel. You know what? We are reappropriating meatbag.
Fucking
That's how that works, right? No, don't.
don't
We're not going there.
don't do that. Just leave it be.
See, you of all people though can't be upset with droids calling us meatbags.
Fine. You want to be treated like people, you can die like the rest.
Okay, but back in the
Yeah,
mind
dude,
space
so
of
that's
Aphra.
I think it's these two specifically that piss me off.
000 and BT.
Yeah, because this is my first interaction with them. I'm like, great, so we showed up, and rather than ask us any questions,
Well, they're assassin droids. They were built to kill.
Yeah, that doesn't.
They have no other purpose.
That doesn't look. Oh, whatever.
And then on top of that, the personality that they've gained over the thousands of years that they've existed, because at least 000's existed. He's
been alive that long.
Well, his memory core has been.
So yeah,
he hasn't been in this specific body for that long.
so he's just been switching around.
Well, he was in a museum for a while until
Okay.
Aphra took him and then put him in
There's
a body.
a lot of things I don't.
There's stuff you don't know.
Yeah.
Darth Vader 2015 and the Aphra comic kind of explain a lot of that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, nah. He his personality is very much I enjoy killing.
I see.
So I mean, that still makes him his own personality in person.
It does.
Because it's very much. I mean, it's not a good personality or person.
No.
It's very much. He's the droid version of a serial killer.
Yeah, I think that's my issue with it, where I'm like, I don't like this.
We're working with a serial killer here.
Yeah, I'm like everyone. It's like we have this guy.
Like they're not happy about working with him either.
Yeah, I think that's my issue with it. I'm like, I don't like because it's very clear that they enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like this is my job. They're like, I get to kill people. Hell yes.
But yeah, back in the memory though, we see Meryl kicking butt
Yeah.
against the Sith and taking names.
Right up until
the
They
Master Sith says nah.
yeah.
Which, do we learn the name of that Sith? We do not. No, we don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, and we learn that they are the Darkseekers, and apparently they're a group of Sith that hunt down like anybody that's a threat to Sith life.
They're a search and destroy.
And Meryl has taken one of their lightsabers, and the Master Darkseeker's like, just do it with your bare hands. If you're a real Sith, you should be able to do this.
Yeah.
But no, it doesn't go well for them. They get whipped, literally and metaphorically. But we learned that the way that the spark really works is that it has to be in sync with the person that's using it.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why why Aphra is not quite in control of her body at the moment, is because the spark and her are not compatible. Aphra is a non-compatible OS for this software in computer speak. Or no, yeah, non-compatible OS for the software, yeah. Because the Spark is essentially an AI.
Yeah. That's
like
what it does.
It's essentially like, if you're a Halo fan, the Spark is Cortana. Except nobody has the space for the AI. The AI just jumps into you.
Yep.
Like in Halo, you have that slot for AI. Here, you don't. You just...
Meryl actually does point out, she's like, well, I knew it was a possibility in regards to, like, the Spark becoming a lot more...
Self-aware.
Self-aware. It's like, I knew it was a possibility, but I didn't think it had actually happened.
But yeah, so this event has to take place after the Spark's creation, after the earlier scene, because the Darkseekers are hunting for the Spark specifically, and they want it.
Yes.
And so Aphra, being Aphra, says, fuck this. Clicks the gun towards Meryl's head and is like, give him the Spark.
Do it. I will not be dying in someone else's memories.
Yeah. And so Meryl's like, fuck, I guess now I have to unleash the Spark. So Meryl unleashes the Spark, which fucks up the Spark's plan for a second in the material plane, because they are on the Vermilion trying to unlock this secret weapon, this sword that the Archivist has, which is the reason why the Archivist wanted the Spark, because it's connected to this weapon.
Yes.
Which we are now learning a lot of the reasons of why we're learning a lot of the stuff that we didn't know about the Archivist and their plan. That this is all filling in the gaps of what's the Archivist up to? Because when we read Crimson Reign, we were like, what's?
Why are you here?
Yeah, what's the goal?
Why did you sign on?
Crimson Reign, right? Yeah, Crimson Reign.
Yeah, it's like, we know that you're here, we know that you're important, but we did not know the why of it.
We know that you're hunting something important, and that it's probably some secret weapon of some sort. We just don't know what it is and how it works.
What it is, how it works,
what it does,
and why they want it.
Yeah. Well, we know the why. It's to defeat the Sith. Because Kira's made that pretty clear that the goal is kill the Sith. That's at least the goal that Kira has publicly stated. We don't know if the ulterior motive of that, other than power, because the Sith are in the way of that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, outside of any extra ulterior motive, we don't, like...
Yeah.
Because obviously Kira could just be saying on the front, just kill the Sith, that's the goal. obviously there's an ulterior motive for that. What is that motive? But yeah, so thankfully that's what Aphra wanted, was to distract the spark in that way.
Yep.
And so now Aphra just shoots the Sith and helps Meryl. Unfortunately, Meryl is pissed still.
How dare you?
And it's like, Aphra's like, okay, you're good now. They're dead. You can unsync. And Meryl's like, I guess. And kind of passes, like, gets exhausted from the effort.
Yep.
And is also mad at Aphra, like, what the fuck?
How dare you?
How dare you aim a gun at me just to get me to do that? It's like, hey, it worked, didn't it? And then they're back at the Ascendant Sanctum again, where we now learn about the sword.
Yes.
Because it turns out that this was all leading up to this. Everything, the spark, Meryl, all of this was leading up to a secret weapon, a Sith killer, all hidden within this, like, sword in the stone level, like, except, like, Sith sorcery bullshit.
Yeah.
Because, like, it literally, like, you're, like, literally pulling out from nothing.
This is one of those times where I'm reading, I'm like, this is clearly some magic evil bullshit. But
yeah. And of course, Spark is like, all right, I got a new weapon. Time to test it out on our poor friends Lucky and Areola.
What if we said fuck this, we're leaving? And they're like, yeah, bye.
Yeah, so like they try to run away. Meanwhile, Archivist manages to distract Spark for them long enough to escape by revealing that they know where they need to go next.
Yeah.
Because it turns out Ko has been helping track where they are. Turns out Ko is the little spy.
I'm like, this isn't surprising to me.
But also, like, it's a triple betrayal because Ko is also, like, telling Team Aphra, okay, they're on their way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, so we double, triple, we're getting all the crosses here.
Yep.
Quadruple cross at this point. But yeah, so they start to plan and get ready. Also, they learn that what 000 and BT have been up to this entire time, which is nothing.
Yep.
Literally, they're like, we are bored. Retirement sucks.
Yep. Please take us with you.
Let us kill things again.
Yep.
And so they decide that they need to go ahead and deal with the Crimson Dawn if they're going to get Aphra back. So they make their way to the Vermilion, where the Spark is waiting.
He's like, hey there.
Meanwhile, back in the mine again, in the mine prison, Meryl has revealed the sword.
Yep. And she's like, here, would you like an example of what it does? They go, sure.
And so Aphra's like, well, I still got this lightsaber. And Meryl's like, yeah, but this can hold up against that swing. Nope.
It doesn't, but
look at your lightsaber. It is now dissolved. Like the actual blade.
The blade of it does not work like it's
dissolves
supposed to.
and kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So
and
apparently,
Meryl's like,
yeah. Go ahead.
It does work, but I might need to reinforce the sword a bit because it's no good if I can only stop one of them.
Yeah. So it turns out we're bringing back Cortosis alloy from Legends.
Yeah.
Which is I think it actually has already been brought back. I can't remember.
I think so.
But Cortosis, for those of you who don't know, is a piece of material it's a metal that is very rare, and what it does is exactly what we see in this comic. It makes lightsabers fizz out.
It doesn't last very long, mind you.
Yeah, it's not like a forever fizzle, but it's long enough that if you're dealing with a lot of lightsabers and you have a reinforced Cortosis alloy blade, you can take out a few lightsabers and take out some Force users.
Yep. You have a limited time to do it, but that's a lot better than most people will get.
Yeah. So, we get the last little like.
She's like, this was the happiest place in my life.
Yeah, because we see the ascendant layer being rebuilt, and so like at this point, Aphra's like, okay, we'll probably never talk to each other again. I need the most important answer from you. How do I turn off the spark?
How do I turn it off?
And
she goes,
wait,
why would you do that?
The spark was not built to be turned off. There is no off button. It just turns on. That's it.
What do you mean? There's no off button.
Yeah, so I'm going to quote.
Yeah.
So this is just the prototype, but it's not supposed to be able to seize control and act autonomously. At least I thought it'd be much more statistically unlikely. I designed the spark to simulate Sith abilities by uniting our bodies with the rest of our technology. It's not the Force, but I thought it would be an effective aid. And then Aphra's like, okay, well, if I can't turn it off, how do I at least get it out of my body? How do I unite with it? And that's when Meryl's like, nah, I can't undo my life's work. I'm not going to tell you that. And even if I wanted to, I can't. And Aphra's like, wait, what? And she's like, yeah, there's no off switch.
Fuck!
No off switch. It just stays on. Clap on. Clap off.
No clap off.
Shit. So now we get our showdown with Ko and Spark, where Ko's like, okay, Archivist called me here. Where are they? And Spark's like, oh no, this is all for us to meet.
This is a setup.
This was for us to meet, and then Ko being a bit jealous.
She's like, okay.
Why did Aphra get to be the one who holds you, not me? I'm the one who like
fucking did all the work.
And Spark's like, oh, it could have literally been anybody. Aphra just happened to get to me first.
Yeah. Although it being her was also incredibly.
It was convenient.
lucky.
Yeah, it was convenient thanks to the tattoos.
Thanks to the tattoos and archaeological knowledge as well.
Yeah. So like it worked out, and but like Spark's like, it could have been anybody. Like if I wasn't too picky.
Yeah.
How
do you feel about betraying your team? By the way.
Also, but also like in a way, Spark starts teasing Ko and is like, I could switch bodies though if you really want me that badly. Are you willing to betray people for it?
Yeah. And Ko, I know we can only see half of Ko's face, but they have a really odd facial expression.
With the wide eye, like
somewhere between outrage and jealousy. Somewhere along that spectrum.
Yeah. Meanwhile, everybody's running into each other because Lucky and Ariel run into Team Aphra, who are like trying to find they're trying to find where Ko and Aphra are because they didn't like get told immediately where this situation was going down. Even though Ko, I'm not gonna reveal it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lucky is like, oh, they're that way, but I wouldn't go that way.
I'm not fucking going.
It's time to leave.
And they're like, what do you mean? They're like, weird, evil, red, glowy shit.
Yeah.
A big, fucking, scary-looking sword.
And Sana's like, okay, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, that sounds right. Meanwhile,
BT and 000 have taken out all the guards.
Yeah.
All the murder.
I'm like, impressive work.
Yeah.
Like it's.
But of course, Sana has to remind them, hey, don't get carried away.
Yeah, rein it in a little.
Like, it's okay that you're killing these people, but like, remember, don't get trigger happy.
Yep.
You're still with us. And then we learn that, okay, yeah, no, Ko was setting up the whole time, because Ko had a earbud piece in her ear still, a listening device that the rest of Team Aphra was listening to know what was going on.
Yeah.
And so Spark finds it and is like, hey, I know you're listening. Come and find me, essentially. Watch me fuck up your ex's body.
Yep.
And so Yeah, Ko and them fight. Meanwhile, Team Aphra breaks in to help with the fight. This time though, so Spark tries to take advantage of the whip, believing that Ko has it on hand.
Yeah.
Nope,
Like, nah.
it's a deactivated lightsaber with nothing in it.
It's just
It's useless.
it doesn't do anything.
And Sana, however, does have the whip, and since they caught Spark off guard, they
Gotcha.
were able to get them because
Yeah.
the main reason that Spark was able to stop a lot of the Ascended technology was because they weren't caught off guard regarding it.
Yep.
Like, a lot of it was like, oh, I see this coming, I can prevent
I
it
can turn it off.
because I have the ability to turn it off. But if I don't see it coming, it's gonna
Yep.
it'll affect me like anybody else.
And I'm like,
And that's where we end
Yeah.
with the
so
Spark
I think
caught.
this actually. I think part of my issue with Aphra when I've been reading things is I have never seen like the Aphra story by itself. It's always been wrapped up in much larger plot threads, so I don't get to see like I'm going to say minutia of it. And I think that because all I've seen have been the big ones, she does get a bit overshadowed.
Yeah.
But I actually really liked this.
Yeah, because it's a little fun, it's your
Yeah.
fun adventure like type story. It's not. There's some deep stuff, but it's not too deep.
Yeah. I will give this. I will give it a solid 8.5.
Okay. Yeah, for this particular adventure, I mean, we end on a cliffhanger, but that's because Hidden Empire is going to be the big finale with a lot of stuff. Because they were leading into Hidden Empire with this, with how Crimson Dawn wants to use the technology.
Yeah. I'm like, is Kira's plan?
There's a lot of stuff at work because it's not just what we see here in Aphra.
No, you're right. I'm thinking, is your plan to just storm wherever fucking Palpatine is with a bunch of Ascendant technology and try to take him out that way? Because that's not a bad plan, but I'm not sure it's gonna work.
I mean, obviously, we see that
doesn't,
he's alive in episode 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd give this about an 8.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a fun little adventure. It does exactly what it needs to. It just kind of is there, and you get in, get out. None of this.
I feel like it would have been helpful if I had known like a lot of other factors going in, but for what it is,
I mean,
I think it does its job.
I think also I think in this case you know most of the factors that you need to because it really plays more into your memory of Crimson Reign. Like this, it really does play more of like, what do you remember from Crimson Reign? Okay, we're continuing from there, and that's really about that. That's really the focus. Like there's stuff like obviously the return of certain characters. That's stuff that you don't connect to as well. Like you're like, who the fuck is Magna? Who the fuck is this bitch? Like here, like all the characters, like not
Who
Magna.
are you?
Yeah, who what is your purpose? And so like that stuff though, that's like even longer running than just like this run of Aphra comics. Like we're talking about the 2015 run of Aphra comics, or 2016 rather. As well as the Darth Vader 2015 run, like that's stuff that we're going that far back, and with the return of some of these characters, and that I think it does a decent job of introducing these characters if you haven't read them. Like, would that be a fair assumption?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't speak from that.
It's a who's who of Aphras.
Yeah, like I can't speak of that of going like for sure. Absolutely, this is a great because I know these characters, but can you? Yeah. From your end, you already said, yeah. Like you don't know these characters, but they do a decent job of going, here's this person and why they're important. And they kind of just... And then they go on. They move on with the story. So, this was the last episode of January.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's already the end of January.
All the time.
So...
They go bye-bye.
Here's our list for February.
Mm-hmm.
We will be doing next week Darth Vader, Volume 5, The Shadow. hopefully,
Shadow.
yeah, the shadow. Hopefully with our guest, it's Victoria, y'all, who couldn't make it this week, but hopefully they will be able to next week. All depending on circumstances. If not, we'll still talk about it. Then after that, we will be talking the High Republic, the Battle of Jeddah, which we have been. I've finished. I read it before or listened to it before it came out. I'm excited for you to experience it.
All right.
And then Tales from the Rancor Pit, which was like supposed to be a replacement of the Tales from Vader's Castle Halloween special sort of thing. Dark Horse did it instead of IDW, because the license changed hands.
Yeah.
It came out in November though, and then like a physical copy didn't come out until recently, and so now we're finally going to talk about it. And then Bounty Hunters Volume 5, the Raid on the Vermilion. So we get Bounty Hunters coming back as well. And that is the plan for February at the moment.
All right.
Unless things change. But unless like some major thing comes out like out of nowhere. But that shouldn't happen, hopefully. All right. So
that's everything. Right?
Yeah, that's everything. Thank you all for watching. I want to thank Mobcast Network for providing this space. Yeah. They are another podcasting group who do Star Wars stuff like us, but they also do Cult Movie Cantina, where they talk about classic movies. We recently did an episode on The Quick and the Dead. You can go watch that now or listen to it. It's on any podcasting app, but it's also on YouTube at youtube.com/Mobcast Network. I am a co-host there as well as a producer role where I kind of help run things, run stuff behind the camera for the most part, but I'm on camera as well. And then I also want to shout out Gamers and Geeks and I just blanked.
Engage Gaming.
Yeah, Engage Gaming, who own the actual building in this area.
Yes.
Gamers and Geeks is our local gaming shop, and then Engage Gaming does like video game stuff where you can do a video game rental thing, where you pay an hourly rate based on how long you play on their Xboxes and PlayStations and PCs and VR that they own, but you just play them, say, if you don't have those and you want to play the newest games. That's a way to do it. You can also pay a membership fee for every month, and that'll reduce how much the hourly rate is. And then Gamers and Geeks but they're both located here in Mobile, Alabama. You can find them on Moffett and Schillinger. No, House Ferry. Moffett and House Ferry. Don't know why I said Schillinger. My brain is.
You're tired too, huh?
Yeah, I didn't even I got good rest. I woke up and I had my coffee.
It's one of those days where it's like everything's kind of slow.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's not bad and you slept right, but things are like
my brain is just not working today. But yeah, and so you can find them on Moffett and House Ferry out here in Mobile, Alabama. Sometimes we're here. Depends on the day.
Sometimes we're not.
But sometimes we're here just hanging out. Sometimes we're here for this. So you might see us depending on the day. And then anybody else that I'm missing? I'm going to go into the spiels of that, but anybody else? I think that's it.
Did you mention the wristband arcade?
Oh, yeah, for Gamers and Geeks. I haven't been doing that as much lately, but for Gamers and Geeks, there is an arcade in the back where you can play some classic games. It's free play arcade systems, but you just got to pay $10 for the day, and you get a little wristband that basically says that you paid. That way you can play the games without any quarters or coins or anything.
I think that's everything for
outside of the network stuff.
Yep.
Now into the network stuff. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you're watching on YouTube. That's youtube.com/Escape Reality Films. And if you're watching on Twitch, that's twitch.tv/Escape Reality Films. Be sure to follow or subscribe. If you really like our content, we also have a Patreon, which is patreon.com/Escape Reality Films. If you're watching on YouTube, it is in the link down below. It's also on the homepage for the YouTube channel. And if you're watching on Twitch, it is linked on the homepage as well. And you can. We want to shout out our patron, Jennifer Brantley, who has been a supporter for so many months at this point. Like, you're amazing. Thank you for all that support. if you do join our Patreon, you get benefits such as being able to watch at tier 2, you can watch our content a week before it's uploaded to YouTube. At tier 1, you are able to actually see some work in progress for a comic book I'm working on with a buddy. So we got some work in progress art. Although tier 2, once each page is complete, that's how you'll get to see the full page. And then that's it for the Patreon exclusives. Although there are some exclusives that I'm working on for Discord through Patreon, because we've also opened the Discord. We opened it last week. As of last week, it's been open.
Things have changed.
Yeah, things have changed. Discord is now open, and you can find the link to that also if you're watching on YouTube right down below. It's right under the Patreon link.
Yep.
And then it's also on the homepage for YouTube and Twitch for our channels. And then if you join that, you can come hang out with us, come chit chat. There are certain channels that you guys will not be able to access because that's the stuff the Patreon members get.
Yep.
And we plan to do movie nights and game nights. We just haven't worked out the details yet.
Yeah, too bad.
But that's everything, I think. I think that's like I said, next week we are talking Darth Vader Volume 5, The Shadow, hopefully with It's Victoria, y'all. Which sending good vibes to you, Victoria. Hope everything's working out fine. That's it. I've spoken.
All right. Be safe. Have a good day. See you next week.
Tonight, finally feeling free and it feels so right. Oh, time to do the things I like. Gonna see a princess, everything's alright. Oh, no job but I answer to. Ain't a fixture in the palace zoo. No, and since the carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free. Yeah, told me get myself together. Now I got myself together. Now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy that it's over now. The pain is gone. The shades of cover up my eyes. I'm jumping in my ride. I'm heading out tonight. I'm solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. I'm on solo. Picking up my blaster, putting it on my side. I'm jumping in my falcon. At my side. I'm solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo. I'm hot solo, I'm hot solo. Now I'm feeling how I should join the alliance, it feels so good. Oh, stop feeling misunderstood. Back in the game, who knew I would? Oh, so fly time I spread my wings. Loving myself makes me wanna sing. No, oh yeah. Told me get my act together. Now I got my act together. Yeah, now I made it through the weather. Better days are gonna get better. I'm so happy the carbonite is gone. I'm moving on. I'm so happy.